The bullet ripped through the air like a whisper from hell, slamming into the glass door of the corner bodega just as Alex Thorne shoved the trembling kid behind the counter. Shards exploded inward, catching the fluorescent light in a deadly sparkle, and Alex's heart hammered against his ribs as he drew his Glock, the weight familiar, yet tonight utterly foreign. "Stay down," he barked, his voice cutting through the chaos. But in that split second, he knew. This wasn't just another late-night holdup in Brooklyn. This was the kind of night that rewrote lives, and his was about to shatter. Alex had been patrolling these streets for 8 years, a badge on his chest that meant something in a city that chewed up heroes and spat out ghosts. At 34, with a jawline sharpened by too many sleepless nights and eyes that had seen one too many goodbyes, he was the guy who showed up when the world went sideways. Tonight, that sideways was a masked gunman in a faded Yankees cap, wild-eyed and twitchy, waving a .38 like it was a ticket to freedom. The bodega's owner, old Mr. Patel, was already on the floor, clutching his side where blood bloomed dark against his shirt. And the kid. Jesus, the kid was maybe 16, all gangly limbs and wide panic, frozen in the aisle with a half-eaten candy bar still in his fist. "Empty the register now," the gunman snarled, his voice muffled but edged with desperation, swinging the revolver toward the counter. That's when Alex moved, instinct overriding the radio crackle in his earpiece. He lunged from the shadows of the doorway, where he'd been grabbing a coffee on his break, tackling the kid down as the shot rang out. Glass rained like confetti from a nightmare, and Alex fired back once, twice, the reports deafening in the tight space. The gunman jerked, his arm flailing, and dropped like a sack of bricks, the .38 skittering across the linoleum. Breathing hard, Alex cuffed the groaning man and called it in, his free hand pressing a wadded-up apron against Mr. Patel's wound. "You're gonna be okay," he murmured to the owner, but his eyes locked on the kid, who was staring at him like he'd just seen a ghost, or maybe a god. The boy's face was pale, streaked with tears and grime, his dark hair falling into eyes that held a storm Alex recognized all too well, the kind that came from hiding who you were in a world that punished honesty. You saved me," the kid whispered, voice cracking as sirens wailed closer. His name, Alex learned later, was Jamie Reyes, a runaway from Queens with a backpack full of secrets and a wristband from a youth shelter that screamed louder than words. He was trans, navigating a life where every step was a gamble. In that moment, though, Jamie was just a scared teen clutching Alex's sleeve, and Alex felt that old pull, the one that had drawn him to the job, to protect the ones the system forgot. By the time the ambulance lights painted the street blue and red, Alex was the hero of the hour. Reporters swarmed like locusts, flashes popping as he gave a clipped statement. "Just doing my job." But inside, his mind raced. Jamie had clung to him during the ride to the hospital, whispering thanks between sobs, and Alex had promised to check in. It was a small thing, a cop's reflex, but in the LGBTQ community, he'd quietly called home since coming out at 25. Small things built bridges. His own coming out had been a battlefield, disowned by his Bible Belt family, estranged from a brother who still sent passive-aggressive Christmas cards, but it had forged him into someone who saw the invisible wounds first. Back at the precinct, the adrenaline crash hit like a freight train. Alex slumped at his desk, nursing a black coffee that tasted like regret, when his partner, Lena Vasquez, slapped his shoulder with a grin. Front page material, Thorne. Gay cop takes down armed psycho, NYPD's wet dream. Lena was straight, sharp as a switchblade, and the only one who'd stuck by him after the department's whispers about that fairy in blue had turned to outright sabotage 2 years back. A false report from a jealous sergeant, rumors of inappropriate conduct during a raid on a queer club. Nothing stuck, but it left scars. "You talked to the kid?" she asked, softer now, reading the lines etched deeper around his eyes. "Yeah, Jamie. Tough little guy." Alex rubbed his temple, the weight of the night settling. He didn't mention how Jamie's story had hooked into his own. The kid's parents kicking him out after he came out as trans, bouncing between shelters, the constant fear of being fixed by strangers with good intentions and bad hands. It mirrored Alex's youth too closely, the rejection that lingered like smoke. Lena nodded, tossing him a protein bar. Get some rest. Captain wants you in early for the debrief. But rest was a joke. Alex's apartment in Bushwick was a third-floor walk-up with peeling wallpaper and a bed that smelled faintly of takeout, a far cry from the picket fence life his ex, Marcus, had chased when he bailed for a normal guy in Chicago. 2 years single, and Alex had sworn off love. Too messy, too much like handing someone a loaded gun. He crashed anyway, dreams fractured by echoes of gunfire and Jamie's haunted eyes. Morning came too soon, gray light filtering through blinds as his phone buzzed. Dispatch. Thorne. Report to holding. Urgent. Frowning, he threw on his uniform, the fabric stiff against skin still prickling from yesterday's chaos. The precinct buzzed with the usual, cops trading war stories over donuts. But something felt off, a ripple in the air like before a storm. In holding, Captain Hargrove waited, face like thunder, flanked by 2 suits from Internal Affairs. Detective Thorne, Hargrove growled, no preamble. You're under arrest. Alex blinked, the words not computing as cuffs clicked cold around his wrists. What the hell for? The lead IA suit, a weasel-faced man named Klein, smirked. Child endangerment. Negligent homicide in the line of duty. And aiding and abetting a fugitive. Alex's blood turned to ice. Fugitive? The kid, Jamie, was no criminal. He was a victim. But Klein slid a file across the table, photos spilling out. Jamie's face, time-stamped from last night, but doctored, twisted into something sinister. And there, buried in the charges, a bomb Alex never saw coming. Conspiracy to harbor an undocumented minor with intent to exploit. Exploit? The word clawed at him. In the haze of shock, fragments pieced together. Jamie's shelter wristband. The way he'd flinched at questions about his papers. The kid was trans. Yeah, but undocumented. From Mexico, smuggled over as a child. Now running from icy shadows that loomed larger than any gunman. Alex hadn't known. How could he? A promise to check in wasn't harboring. It was humanity. But the precinct saw different. Whispers turned to stares as they marched him out. Figures the queer one would pull this. Old prejudices, the ones he'd fought tooth and nail, resurfacing like bile. Hargrove avoided his eyes, and Lena looked gutted, mouthing, I'll fix this, from across the bullpen. Locked in a cell that smelled of sweat and despair, Alex slammed his fist against the bars, the clang echoing his rage. This wasn't just a frame job. It was a witch hunt, rooted in the department's underbelly where homophobia festered like an open wound. Hours blurred into a numb fog. His one call went to his lawyer, a pro bono firebrand from the Lambda Legal Clinic named Riley Kane, sharp-tongued, openly queer, with a reputation for dismantling bigots in court. Riley arrived like a storm, all tailored suits and unyielding glare. Talk to me, Alex. Every detail. As he spilled it, the save, the promise, the arrest. Riley's pen flew, but her eyes softened at the edges. This reeks of bias. Your file's got flags from that club raid. They're painting you as the predator to bury the hero story. Predator. The accusation twisted like a knife, echoing the slurs from his youth, the beatings in high school locker rooms for holding hands with his first boyfriend. Alex had risen above it, or so he thought. Top of his academy class, medals for valor. But here he was, caged for loving too fiercely, for seeing a kid who needed saving. Jamie, he asked, voice raw. Is he okay? Riley hesitated. Gone. Slipped out before they could grab him. But that's why they're coming for you. Loose end. She leaned in, her hand brushing his through the bars, a spark of solidarity in the cold metal. We'll fight this. You're not alone. But alone was all he felt as the door clanged shut behind her. Curled on the bunk, Alex let the walls close in, memories flooding. His father's voice, you'll burn in hell for this. The day he traded family for freedom. And Marcus, gone because I can't hide forever. Love, he'd learned, was a luxury for the unbroken. Yet Jamie's face lingered, a beacon in the dark, a kid fighting the same wars, trans and terrified in a country that preached liberty but doled out chains. By evening, the news cycle had flipped. Morning headlines hailed him. Now, evening broadcasts crucified. Cop in heroic save linked to child trafficking ring. Alex's photo, mugshot fresh, splashed across screens, the gay angle buried in subtext but screaming in the comments. slurs scrolling like venom. Lena smuggled in a burner phone during visiting hours, her face haggard. Jamie's with a contact from the shelter network. Safe, for now. But they're raiding places, Alex. Targeting queer youth spots, saying you're the tip of the iceberg. The iceberg. It hit him then. The real crime he didn't know existed wasn't Jamie's status. It was the underground railroad of fear, where LGBTQ runaways like him dodged not just families, but a system rigged to erase them. Alex had been blind to it, patrolling the surface while the depths churned with stories like Jamie's. Parents fleeing violence south of the border, kids caught in the crossfire of borders and bigotry. His arrest? A convenient purge, scapegoating the gay cop to justify sweeps that herded the vulnerable into shadows. Rage simmered into resolve. When Riley returned with bail papers, miraculously fast, courtesy of a viral petition from queer activists, Alex stepped into the night a free man, but forever changed. The city lights mocked him, Brooklyn's pulse now a taunt. He had to find Jamie, not just to clear his name, but to bridge the chasm of misunderstanding that had landed him here. Love, in its rawest form, wasn't romance. It was this, reaching across the void for someone drowning. Their first real meeting was in a dingy coffee shop off Flatbush, the kind with mismatched chairs and steam fogging the windows. Jamie sat in the corner booth, hood up, nursing a hot chocolate that trembled in his hands. Up close, he was smaller than Alex remembered, the bravado from the bodega stripped away to reveal a boy on the edge, 17 tomorrow, by his count, with faint bruises fading on his knuckles from God knows what street fight. "You came," Jamie said, voice barely above the hiss of the espresso machine. "Thought you'd run." "Run? Kid, I've been running my whole life. Time to stop." Alex slid into the seat opposite, keeping his voice low, scanning for tails. The arrest had eyes everywhere, IA shadows lurking. But here, in this neutral ground, truth could breathe. He ordered black coffee, strong enough to cut the fog, and leaned in. "Tell me everything. No filters." Jamie hesitated, fingers tracing the mug's rim, a habit Alex recognized from his own nervous tics during therapy sessions he never finished. "I'm not a kid. Not really. Back home, in Juarez, my family thought sending me north would fix me. Mom said America was the land of second chances." His laugh was bitter, eyes dropping. "But when I told them about me, about being trans, about the boy I kissed behind the church, they panicked. Said I'd bring shame. So they paid coyotes, and I ended up here, alone, dodging La Migra every shadow." Alex's chest tightened, the parallels slicing deep. His own second chance had been enlisting young, burying his queerness under fatigues until the don't ask, don't tell lie cracked him open. And the shelter? They know. Some. But it's a minefield. Half the staff are allies, half are waiting to out you for safety checks. Jamie's gaze lifted, fierce now. "You get it, don't you? The looks, the whispers. Like you're defective. More than you know." Alex shared fragments, his ex's abandonment, the department's hazing masked as tough love. It poured out, cathartic, the first honest conversation in years. No badges, no walls. Just two souls scarred by the same blade. By the time the shop closed, a fragile trust bloomed, Jamie agreeing to crash at a safe house Riley knew, far from the raids. But trust was a spark in a powder keg. That night, as Alex tailed a suspicious sedan from the precinct, Lena's tip on a dirty cop feeding IA intel, his world tilted again. The car led to a warehouse in Red Hook, chain link rattling in the wind, and inside, voices. Klein's nasal whine, plotting the next bust. The Thorn kid's the key. Nail him for grooming, and the whole network crumbles. Grooming. The word ignited fury, Alex's fists clenching as he peered through a cracked window. But then, a face he knew. Hargrove, his captain, nodding along, pocketing an envelope thick with cash. Betrayal hit like a sucker punch. Hargrove, the gruff mentor who'd vouched for him after the club raid, now the puppet master? Alex slipped away, heart pounding, dialing Riley on the burner. "It's bigger than us. Corruption, straight up." Her silence stretched, then, "Meet me." Now. The meet was a park bench under sodium lamps, Riley arriving with takeout tie and a laptop glowing with files. She was all business, but her knee brushed his under the table, a quiet anchor in the storm. "I've been digging." "Your arrest?" timed with a federal grant for border security ops targeting queer migrants. Hargrove's crew gets kickbacks for inflated arrests. She slid the screen his way. Emails, blurred but damning, linking Klein to anti-immigrant lobbies with ties to conversion therapy fronts. They're not just after you. They're weaponizing prejudice to fund a purge. Alex scrolled, nausea rising. One attachment, a photo of Jamie, time-stamped post-robbery, captioned, asset secured. It wasn't protection, it was leverage. We exposed this, he said, voice steel. But Jamie first. Riley's eyes met his, a flicker of something deeper, admiration, maybe more, but she nodded. Together. In that word, the first crack in his armor appeared. For years, connection had been a risk, love a liability. But Riley, with her unapologetic fire, stirred echoes of what could be. Partnership, not pity. Dawn broke bloody over the harbor as they mobilized. Lena met them at the safe house, her unmarked cruiser idling like a getaway steed. Jamie's packing. Kid smart, spotted a tail yesterday. Inside, Jamie paced, backpack slung, eyes darting. Seeing Alex, relief warred with wariness. What's the play? Run? Or fight? Alex countered, handing him a burner. Jamie paused, then squared his shoulders, a mirror of Alex's own stance in the academy mirror, faking confidence till it stuck. Fight. For once. The plan coalesced in frantic whispers. Lena would fake a jurisdictional handoff, buying time. Riley, leverage her contacts for a whistleblower drop. Alex and Jamie, bait the trap. It was suicide wrapped in strategy, but the alternative, silence, surrender, was death by inches. As they rolled out, Jamie in the back seat, Alex caught his reflection in the side mirror. Older, wearier, but alive with purpose. Saving the kid hadn't ended at the bodega, it was just beginning. The sting went sideways fast. They lured Klein to a derelict pier in Coney Boardwalk, ghosts of summer crowds haunting the fog-shrouded planks. Alex posed as the broken cop, Jamie the recovered asset, Riley wired for sound in a nearby van with Lena. I want out. Alex growled into the phone, voice laced with feigned desperation. Name your price. Klein arrived slimy as ever, trench coat flapping, 2 goons in tow. Thorne, you look like hell. His eyes slid to Jamie, predatory. And the boys cooperative? Good. Sign this. Waiver for protection, and we're square. Protection. The euphemism curdled Alex's gut. As Jamie handed over the documents, forged by Riley, laced with trackers, tension coiled like a spring. Then, the twist. Hargrove emerged from the shadows, badge glinting. Enough games, detective. Guns drawn, the trap flipped. Not theirs, but the captain's. You're done. Betrayal's second wave crashed, but Alex was ready. He lunged, tackling Klein as shots cracked the night, the goons scattering into the mist. Jamie bolted for the van, Riley's voice crackling. NYPD en route. Hold on. Chaos erupted. Fists, grunts, the metallic tang of blood as Alex pinned Klein, wrenching a confession mid-struggle. It's the grants. Hargrove skimming. Queer kids are easy quotas. Sirens wailed, Lena's backup screeching in, and the pier became a frenzy of blue lights and barked orders. Hargrove bolted, but a trank dart from Lena's kit dropped him cold. As cuffs clicked on the corrupt, Alex slumped against a piling, Jamie at his side, both breathing ragged. We did it, the kid whispered, a grin breaking through the grime. Not yet. Alex pulled him into a rough hug, brotherly, fierce, the kind that said family wasn't blood. In the aftermath, as feds swarmed and headlines flipped back to vindication, the real healing began. Weeks later, the charges dissolved like mist. Alex testified, his story unraveling the ring. Millions funneled through fake ops, targeting LGBTQ migrants to pad stats and pockets. Hargrove sang like a canary for leniency, Klein faced disbarment, and the department, under new scrutiny, pledged reforms. Queer liaisons, sensitivity training that might actually stick. But victories were bittersweet. Jamie got his green card push, courtesy of Riley's legal wizardry, and enrolled in a Brooklyn high school with a GSA club that felt like home. Thanks to you, he said at the ceremony, cap tassel swinging. Alex, in the audience, throat tight, waved it off. Nah, you saved me too. Riley waited outside, her smile a quiet sun. Their first date followed. Simple, falafel in the village, hands brushing over hummus. Scared? She asked, eyes searching. Terrified. Honesty, raw. Last time it broke me. This time, she squeezed his fingers. We build. Love, tentative and true, bloomed in the cracks. Dinners where Jamie crashed, turning trios into chosen family. Protests where Alex marched, badge retired for a sign reading Protect All. Misunderstandings faded, prejudices confronted in boardrooms and back alleys. Twists lingered, a threatening letter from Hargrove's cronies. A media leak twisting old rumors, but they faced them shoulder to shoulder, the tension forging deeper bonds. One night, under city stars that never quite shone, Alex proposed, not rings, but promises. To Riley, fierce and unwavering. To Jamie, guardian without title. We're unbreakable now, he said, and in their eyes, he saw it reflected. A future reclaimed, love's drama not a cage, but wings. Yet drama never fully quits. Months on, a new shadow loomed. Jamie's bio mom, crossing the border legally now, seeking amends. Tears, accusations, a courtroom where old wounds reopened. Alex stood sentinel, Riley arguing for healing over havoc. The climax? Forgiveness, hard won, with boundaries drawn like battle lines. Jamie chose expansion, not erasure, family doubled, not replaced. Through it all, Alex's heart mended, the gay cop who saved a kid becoming the man who saved himself. In Brooklyn's relentless hum, they thrived. Love's conflicts resolved in quiet victories, prejudices toppled by persistent light. And in the end, the crime he didn't know existed? It was ignorance itself, blind to the beauty in broken things. But now, eyes wide, he saw it all. The precinct's fluorescent hum felt like a migraine as Alex clocked in for his first shift post-scandal, the air thick with side eyes and forced nods. Captain Ellis, Hargrove's replacement, a no-nonsense lesbian with a buzz cut and a glare that could melt steel, had cleared him personally, but trust was a currency in short supply. Thorne, she called from her office, voice carrying over the bullpen din my desk. Now, he entered warily, the door clicking shut like a verdict. Ellis leaned back, arms crossed, her uniform impeccable. You're back. Don't make me regret it. No warmth, but fairness, a start. She slid a folder his way. Fresh cases, low profile, but pointedly including a string of assaults on trans youth in the village. This one's yours. Show me you're still the cop I heard about before the circus. Gratitude warred with grit in his throat. Yes, ma'am. The cases hit close. Echoes of Jamie's bruises, the shelter raids that had nearly claimed him. As he pored over reports later, patterns emerged. Not random, but targeted, whispers of a vigilante group calling themselves Purity Patrol, emboldened by the old corruption's fallout. Bigots didn't vanish, they burrowed deeper. Lena joined him at his desk, coffee in hand, her usual swagger dimmed. Missed you, partner. Place was a ghost town without your brooding charm. She meant it, the loyalty a bomb. But her eyes flicked to the folder. This? It's personal. Always is. Alex rubbed his jaw, stubble rasping. Nights with Riley had softened the edges. Lazy mornings tangled in sheets, her laughter chasing shadows. But work demanded the old armor. Still, Jamie's influence lingered. The kid had texted earlier, a selfie from his first day at community college. Caption, kicking ass in psych class. Your turn to save the world again. He smiled faintly, firing back a thumbs up. Saving the world started small. Canvassing the village, ear to the ground in bars and cafes where queer folks gathered like wary birds. His first lead came from a drag queen named Vivi, all sequins and suspicion, nursing a Manhattan at the Stonewall Inn. Heard of M, she drawled, eyeliner sharp as her wit. Fringe evangelicals, mostly ex-cops. Hit kids who flaunt it, trans folks especially. Last one, left a note, repent or rot. Alex's blood chilled. Ex-cops. Threads to Hargrove's web? He thanked Vivi, slipping her his card, for protection, and hit the streets, the autumn chill biting through his jacket. By dusk, he'd tailed a suspect to a nondescript church in Midtown, Purity Patrol flyers curling from the bulletin board like accusations. Inside, a sermon thundered. The deviants corrupt our youth. Fight back. He blended into the pews, anonymous in plain clothes, but tension coiled as the preacher, a burly man with Hargrove's jowls, ranted. Brother to the captain? Family ties, blood thicker than justice. Alex's phone buzzed. Riley. Dinner? Jamie's cooking. Says it's therapeutic tacos. The normalcy tugged, a lifeline. On my way. But as he slipped out, a hand clamped his shoulder. The preacher's acolyte, eyes narrow. You don't belong here, sinner. Alex shrugged free, pulse spiking. Funny. Thought churches were for everyone. The words hung, a gauntlet thrown, and he drove away with a new fire. This wasn't just cases. It was war on the remnants of hate. Home was Riley's brownstone now, a step up from his walk-up, walls lined with law books and Jamie's sketches. Raw, emotional portraits of fractured families. The kid greeted him at the door, apron smeared with guac, grin wide. Hero returns. Try not to arrest the salsa. Laughter filled the space, easing the day's grit. Riley emerged from the kitchen, wine glass in hand, her kiss a soft anchor. Rough one. Getting there. Over tacos, they debriefed Jamie's class anecdotes, Riley's latest win against a discriminatory landlord. It was domestic, profound. The family Alex had lost, rebuilt brick by vulnerable brick. But as plates cleared, his phone lit with Lena's text, suspect ID'd. Meet at the pier, now. Duty called, pulling him back to the edge. He kissed Riley goodbye, promising, late, but worth it. The pier was deserted, waves slapping pilings like impatient applause. Lena waited, silhouette sharp against the moonlit water. Preacher's brother confirmed. Name's Elias Grant. And get this, he's got Hargrove's old burner logs. Planning a rally tomorrow, purge the pervs. Alex's jaw set. We shut it down. But as they plotted, shadows stirred. Footsteps, then a bat swinging from the dark. Lena went down first, grunt muffled, and Alex spun, Glock half-drawn when pain exploded across his temple. Blackness swallowed him, the last thought, not again. He woke to ropes biting wrists, salt air thick in a boathouse reeking of fish and fanaticism. Elias loomed, bat in hand, flanked by 3 thugs in tactical vests, purity's enforcers. The gay night returns. Elias sneered, Hargrove's echo in his drawl. Thought you'd slink away after Brother Deer's fall. Alex tested the bonds, head throbbing. This your idea of purity? Beating tidemen. Defiance masked fear. One wrong word. And Lena? Where was Lena? Elias laughed, cold. Judgment, cop. For corrupting that boy. For flaunting your filth. He waved a phone. Video playing. Alex and Jamie at the coffee shop. Hug captured out of context. Twisted into something sinister. See? Grooming. We'll air it. Ruin you all over again. The threat landed, visceral. Jamie's face on the screen, innocent trust perverted. Rage surged, but Alex played cool. You touch him, and it's over. Feds are watching. Bluff, but Elias faltered, eyes flicking to his men. Then, crash of wood, shouts. The door splintered, Riley bursting in with NYPD vests, Jamie behind her clutching a tire iron like Excalibur. Surprise, assholes, the kid yelled, swinging wild. Chaos erupted. Tasers zapping, fists flying, Alex wrenching free in the melee to tackle Elias. It's done, he growled, cuffing the man as backup swarmed. Lena, bruised but breathing, clapped his shoulder later in the ER. Told you, unbreakable. Riley hovered, worry etching her brow, while Jamie paced, adrenaline jangling. How'd you know? Instinct, Riley said. But her glance at Alex held depths. The burner he'd left, her legal radar pinging anomalies. Love's intuition, sharper than steel. The rally fizzled under arrests, Purity Patrol crumbling like dry rot. Elias spilled, implicating holdouts from Hargrove's era, and reforms accelerated, body cams mandated, bias training enforced. Alex's testimony, raw and unflinching, made waves, a queer cop's stand against systemic rot. But personal storms brewed. Jamie's mom arrived, visa in hand, eyes haunted by the journey north. Their reunion at the brownstone was a minefield, hugs laced with hesitation, stories traded like fragile glass. I failed you, she whispered, tears carving paths. Jamie wavered, old hurts clashing with new hopes. Alex mediated, his own family ghosts whispering counsel. Forgiveness wasn't absolution, it was choice. Riley pulled him aside later, balcony overlooking the city. You're good at this, holding space. Her hand in his, warm. Proud. The word undid him, tears pricking. Scared I'll lose it all again. You won't. We won't. Their kiss deepened, promise sealed under stars. As winter gripped Brooklyn, conflicts peaked. A final purity holdout, a mole in the department, leaked Jamie's location for a correction ambush. Alex raced through snow-slick streets, heart in throat, arriving to fists and fury in an alley behind the college. He waded in, badge flashing, subduing the attackers as Jamie fought back, fierce and unbroken. In the aftermath, hugging the kid amid flashing lights, Alex felt the arc complete, from savior to equal, the robbery's echo fading into legacy. Love, in its tangled glory, had weathered the gales, misunderstandings mended, prejudices pierced, characters carved deeper by fire. Spring brought renewal, Jamie's graduation, Riley's ring slipped on in a quiet ceremony, Lena toasting as best woman. Alex, once arrested for shadows he didn't cast, now walked in light. A gay cop, a guardian, a lover, proving the greatest crime was fear unspoken. Summer heat baked the asphalt as Alex led a training seminar at the academy, his voice steady over the murmur of rookies. Bias isn't a footnote, it's the fault line. Ignore it, and you crack. Slides clicked. Stats on queer hate crimes, his own mugshot juxtaposed with the exoneration headline. Eyes widened, whispers hushed. He was legend now, the cop who'd toppled a cabal. But inside, the weight lingered, therapy with Riley's coax, unpacking the trauma like buried mines. Post-session, a cadet lingered, young, earnest, with a rainbow pin on his lanyard. Sir, how'd you? Keep going. After the arrest. Vulnerability raw, mirroring his younger self. Alex clapped his shoulder. One step, one ally. Find yours. The kid nodded, fire kindled, and Alex left lighter, the cycle turning. Homeward, traffic snarled, radio droning a scandal. Another precinct purge, echoes of his fight. His phone buzzed. Jamie, mom's visit extension. Freaking out. Help. The brownstone hummed with tension when he arrived. Maria Reyes on the couch. Photos spread like offerings. Jamie's childhood, frozen smiles. He looks so happy, she said, accent thick with longing. Jamie hovered in the kitchen, arms crossed. Yeah, before you ship me off. Alex mediated, coffee steaming. Hear her, Jay, but own your line. Hours unraveled threads. Maria's fears of cartel violence, the desperate choice, Jamie's rage at abandonment. Tears fell, bridges tentatively rebuilt. By nightfall, tentative peace. Maria staying, cooking pozole that filled the air with home. Riley joined late, court weary, collapsing into Alex with a sigh. World still burning? Ours isn't. He kissed her temple, gratitude profound. Their love had deepened through trials, weekends away, mending his trust fractures. Her vulnerabilities shared, law's toll on the heart. No grand gestures, just steady. The way she left notes in his lunch, you're my safe harbor. But harmony fractured mid-autumn. A letter arrived, unmarked. The kid's not yours to save. Back off, or we finish what Hargrove started. Attached, a photo, Jamie at college, circled in red. Alex's blood iced, purity remnants, slithering back. He briefed Ellis immediately, her response swift. Protection detail, joint task force. Lena grinned wolfishly. Road trip? Nah, stakeout central. The lead traced to a rural compound upstate. Reclamation camp, facade for conversion horrors. Intel painted grim. Kidnapped youth. Therapies that broke spirits. Jamie, overhearing, insisted. I'm in. Can't hide forever. Alex balked. Too risky. Like you hid. Jamie's eyes blazed. Trans flag patch on his jacket a banner. This is my fight too. Riley mediated. Fierce. All in, or not at all. Compromise. Jamie as consultant, not bait. The op launched at dawn, choppers whirring, Alex's team breaching undercover of raid warrants. Gunfire spat, screams echoed, but they freed a dozen. Teens hollow-eyed, stories searing. In the fray, Alex cornered the ringleader, a defrocked shrink with Purity Inc. "Why the kids?" he demanded, zip-tying wrists. "Salvation," the man spat, but eyes betrayed fanatic fear. Confession followed, funded by old Hargrove donors, targeting trans and gay runaways as easy wins. Back in the city, headlines roared vindication, but Alex's nightmares returned, faces of the rescued blending with Jamie's. Therapy dug deeper. "You're carrying their pain," the counselor said. "Set it down." Riley helped, nights of talk turning to touch, reaffirming life amid death's shadow. Jamie thrived, interning at Lambda, his voice amplifying others. Maria watched, proud tears, "My brave boy." Winter's cusp brought climax. An informant flipped, outing a mole, Ellis's deputy, planted to sabotage. Confrontation in the bullpen, betrayal's blade drawn. "You're all abominations," the deputy snarled, gun flashing. Alex disarmed him in a blur, Lena covering, the room erupting in chaos contained. Aftermath, promotions, his to sergeant. But the scar, a reminder, evil wore badges too. Through it, relationships twisted anew. Jamie's first boyfriend, a shy artist named Kai, sparking joy and jitters. Alex played protector, vetting with gruff care, earning eye rolls and hugs. "Dad vibes," Jamie teased. Riley's proposal came casual, over diner pancakes. "Marry me? Make this official." "Yes," breathless, led to planning, small, queer-centric, with Lena officiating bad jokes. The wedding, spring bloom, was catharsis. Vows exchanged under cherry trees, Jamie best man, Maria beaming. Conflicts resolved in cheers, prejudices picnicked away. Alex, once arrested in ignorance, now stood whole. Love's drama his strength, not shackle. Yet one twist lingered, a letter from his brother, postmarked Texas. Saw the news. "Maybe. Coffee. Door cracked. Hope tentative." He wrote back. "Yeah. Start there. Healing, endless, but possible." The coffee meet was a minefield masked as neutral ground. A midtown Starbucks, neutral as chain stores get. Alex arrived early, pulse erratic, stirring sugar into black that wouldn't settle him. His brother, Daniel, slid in opposite, older by 2 years, lines etched from ranch life and regrets unspoken. "Alex," he started, voice gravel. "You look good. Lie but kindness." "You too, Dan." "Kids?" 3. "Wife's expecting 4. Small talk, a bridge of banalities over the chasm. Then, the plunge, "Dad's sick. Cancer. Asked about you." Alex's spoon stilled, old wounds pulsing. "And you? Still think I'm hellbound?" Daniel winced, glancing away. "Was wrong. Church stuff. It sticks. But seeing you on TV, fighting for those kids, made me think." Pause, heavy. "Proud, maybe." The word cracked something, tears blinked back. They talked hours, childhood bikes, lost years, Daniel's quiet coming around via a gay nephew's story. No full mend, but a thread. Visits promised, holidays tentative. Alex left lighter, texting Riley, "Brother breakthrough. Miracles happen." She replied with hearts, their life a tapestry weaving loose ends. Jamie's internship bloomed, cases mirroring his own, runaways he mentored, voice steady in depositions. Kai tagged along, the pair a whirlwind of art shows and activism, Jamie's confidence a beacon. Lena's wedding followed, a raucous affair in Coney, beachside with drag performers and unlimited hot dogs. Alex caught the bouquet, jinx or sign, toasting her union with a lump in throat. To allies who stay. Fall deep in cases, a spike in bias incidents, Purity's ghost stirring online radicals. Alex's task force expanded, cross-agency, Riley consulting on civil suits. One night, poring over chats in their study, she sighed. "This hate, it's viral now. Memes to manifestos." He pulled her close. "We counter with truth." Their joint op. A sting on a dark web recruiter, Alex undercover in forums, weaving narratives of doubt into the venom. Arrests followed, dismantling cells, but the toll mounted, sleepless nights, Jamie's worry texts. "Don't ghost us, hero." A low point hit December. Raid gone wrong. A kid caught in crossfire. Not lethal, but hospitalized. Alex visited, holding vigil, the boy's parents glaring through tears. Why him? The mom whispered. Guilt nod. Wrong place. But we'll make it right. Pledges turned policy. Youth outreach vans, safe zones mapped. Jamie volunteered, his presence calming, trans flag a shield. New Year's brought pivot. Riley's pregnancy test, positive. Shock, joy, terror collided. Us? Parents. Alex breathed, hand on her still flat belly. Chosen family edition. Laughter bubbled, plans spinning. Nursery in the brownstone, Jamie as cool uncle. But whispers of doubt. His past, the job's dangers. What if I can't protect them? You will. We will. Her faith, anchor. Spring's bloom masked brewing storm. Daniel's call, urgent. Dad's bad. Come home. Texas loomed, ghosts beckoning. Alex flew south, Riley beside, Jamie minding fort. The ranch was weathered, air thick with dust and dying. Their father, gaunt in hospice bed, eyes milky but sharp. Son, he rasped, hand extended. Alex took it, tremor shared. Dad, no forgiveness speech, just presence. Stories swapped. Riley charming the nurse. Silence is heavy but healing. Last words, sorry. Love you, boy. Always did. Release, bittersweet. Back north, grief worked slow, therapy a valve. Jamie's graduation loomed, capstone, valedictorian speech on resilience, trans trails blazed. To the cops who see us, he said, eyes on Alex, applause thundering. Summer's heat wave tested. Heat stroke in a protest line, Alex shielding a pinned activist. Media frenzy reignited old slurs, but support surged. Petitions, op-eds. Riley, belly rounding, rallied. Ignore the noise. Feel this. Kick under palm, life insistent. Fall harvest yielded fruit. Baby's room painted, gender-neutral murals by Kai. Daniel visited, awkward but earnest, gifting a tiny cowboy hat. For the next generation. Climax crested November. Final purity trial. Alex testifying against Elias. Courtroom electric. Cross-exam probed wounds. Isn't it true you harbored illegally? But Riley objected, eviscerating. Verdict. Guilty, sentences stacked. Justice, partial but potent. Winter wrapped them warm. Eve's labor, dramatic. Snowstorm, power flick. Baby girl arriving fierce, named Elena for strength. Alex held her, tears free. Jamie cooing, Riley exhausted radiant. Our miracle. Love's arc, from robbery's hook to hearth's glow, proved enduring. Conflicts conquered, prejudices peeled, souls deepened in drama's forge. The crime unknown? Isolation. Now, connected, they shone. Elena's first cry pierced the delivery room like dawn's promise, tiny fists flailing against the sterile chill. Alex cradled her, all 2 pounds of fury and wonder, her mother's eyes staring back, green flecked gold, Riley's fire in miniature. She's perfect, he whispered, voice cracking as nurses bustled and Jamie snapped photos, Kai hovering with awed grin. Outside, snow piled high, muffling the world's roar, but inside, a new chapter unfurled. Family, forged not born, but no less fierce. Parenthood hit like a tidal wave. Sleepless nights blurred into days of bottles and burps. Alex trading night shifts for dawn patrols. Lena covering with gruff affection. Uncle Judy's call, she'd say, scooping Elena for coups that melted her tough shell. Riley dove into maternity leave. Law briefs swapped for lullabies, but her mind never idled. Plotting a firm expansion, queer family focused. Jamie's senior year ramped. Thesis on migrant narratives earning nods from profs, but shadows nipped. An ex from Kai's past stirring jealousy. Texts laced with doubt. He's ghosting. Jamie confessed one evening. Elena gurgling in her bouncer as Alex grilled veggie burgers on the tiny balcony. Kids talk. Like this. Alex flipped a patty. Metaphor apartment heart to heart followed. Jamie's fears of unworthiness. Trans scars whispering lies. You're enough? Alex said, simple truth. Kai showed next day, flowers in fist, apologies tumbling. Mended, stronger, the kid's first lesson in love's labor. Spring thawed tensions. Daniel's family visit. Chaos of toddlers and Elena's babbles bridging gaps. Alex's niece, bold at 5, declared, Uncle Alex, you're sparkly. Rainbow pinwinking. Laughter healed old rifts. Dad's memory, a gentle ghost. Work's undercurrent simmered, a string of accidental leaks, cases sabotaged. Ellis pulled him in. Ghosts, Thorn. Old guards grumbling. Investigation internal, Alex heading it. Ironic, trusted now to root rot. One lead scorched. A sergeant, Hargrove protege, funneling tips to fringe sites. Sting op brood, Alex bait. Fake meat in a dive bar, Mike hot. Join the real force. The man slurred, beer breath foul. Purity 2.0. Recording gold, arrest clean. But fallout. Precinct divide. Whispers of Thorn's witch hunt. Lena backed him, Ellis too, but isolation crept, echoes of his arrest chill. Riley sensed it, pulling strings for a psych eval. Mandatory, but her touch. Talk, she urged, Elena nursing as they sat porch swing style. Floodgates opened. Fear of repeating cycles, failing the daughter he'd die for. What if the badge poisons us? It won't. You're the antidote. Her belief, balm. Summer's swelter brought bounty. Elena's firsts, roll, giggle, grab. Milestones marked with Maria's tamales, Daniel's video calls. Jamie proposed to Kai under fireworks. Rings simple, acceptance tearful. Wedding plans wove in, backyard affair with queer choirs serenading. Autumn's palette turned turbulent. Leaks sourced deeper, tied to City Hall. Councilman with purity donors. Riley's firm sued, class action brewing. But threats escalated. Slashed tires. Elena's daycare, tip, line buzzing with cranks. Climax brewed October. Rally against the councilman, Alex speaking, voice steady, Elena in carrier. Hate hides in halls of power. We expose it. Cheers swelled, but post-rally, ambush. Then screeching, shots wild. Alex dove, shielding Riley and Babe, Lena returning fire. Chaos quelled, suspects nabbed. Councilman's aides, confessions spilling. Scandal toppled the man, reforms roared. Oversight boards, queer reps mandated. Alex's star rose, but cost tallied. Therapy intensified, family huddles tighter. Jamie's wedding, November gold, was joy's counterpoint. Vows under leaves, Alex walking him down aisle, Kai's eyes shining. To futures fought for. Winter cradled quiet, Elena's first Christmas, tree twinkling with ornaments from all Texas stars, Juarez Milagros. Daniel gifted a family Bible, inscribed, Love Wins. F4:2. Alex teared, hugging brother. New year dawned with promise. Riley's firm booming. Alex eyeing captaincy. Jamie grad school bound with Kai. Conflicts, once tempests, now ripples. Resolved in council, deepened bonds. The unknown crime. Self-doubt's prison. Free now, Alex embraced the drama, love's script his own. Elena's toddler tyranny reigned supreme. Her no, a declaration of independence echoing through the brownstone as Alex chased her giggles down the hall. 2 years in, fatherhood was a masterclass in surrender, schedules shredded, heart expanded infinite. Riley thrived in chaos, balancing court wins with playdates, her laugh the glue. She's you, she'd tease, watching Elena's stubborn pout. All fire, no quit. Jamie's grad program swallowed him, thesis evolving into book proposal. Kai's illustrations breathing life into pages. Visits were feasts, late-night edits, Elena helping with crayon chaos. Maria relocated nearby, Abuela duties her joy, Pozole simmering Sundays. Daniel's integration deepened. Summer ranch trip, Elena's first horse ride under uncle's watch. Alex and brother fishing silences into stories. Dad would have loved her, Daniel said, hook cast. Healing, layered. Work's horizon cleared, but vigilance eternal. Ellis promoted him lieutenant. Task force legacy his to helm. Lena, captain bound, ribbed. Don't go soft, Dad bod. A fresh ripple. National spotlight. Alex keynoting at Pride symposiums, voice amplifying. But pushback lurked. Online trolls doxing, a purity reboot in podcasts spewing bile. One episode targeted Elena. Thorn spawn, next victim of agenda. Rage boiled, but Riley cooled. Sue M. Defamation suit crushed the host. Precedent set. Protection for families queer. Spring's renewal mirrored personal. Jamie's book deal. Launch party buzzing with press. Alex toasting. From bodega to bestseller. Your story, our strength. Kai's nerves pre-wedding had echoed old fears, but vows sealed them. Honeymoon photos flooding feeds. Beaches, bliss. Elena's preschool plunge tested. Drop-off tears. Alex's heart-wrenching. She'll soar. Riley soothed. And she did. Finger paints. Friendships budding. Summer storm brewed subtle. Anonymous donor to Riley's firm. Strings attached. Drop a case against a reform camp. Temptation whispered, but integrity held. Investigation revealed purity financier. Raid netted docs. Empire crumbling final. Fall's harvest. Elena's third birthday. Piñata bursting candy confetti. Family full. Maria, Daniel's clan, Lena's crew. Toasts to resilience. Laughter loud. Climax crested Thanksgiving. Councilman trial echoes. A holdout judge dismissing charges. Outrage surged. Protests planned. Alex led. Elena's sign. Love-hate. Peaceful till agitators infiltrated. Clashes sparking. In melee, he shielded a teen. Trans, terrified, echoing Jamie's safe. Arrests targeted instigators. Truth prevailing. Reforms solidified. Education mandates. Funding shifts. Winter wrap triumphs. Elena's first snowman. Jamie's book acclaim. Riley's partnership. Daniel's Christmas. Full house. Carol's queer-infused. New year. Alex reflected. From robbery's hook to hearth's hold. Dramas weave rich. Misunderstandings mended. Prejudices pulverized. Love's depth unending. The crime unknown? Forgetting one's power. Now, wielded, it lit the way.